So a lot of them, this is going to be their first time doing stand-up, and I'm really excited to see all the hard work that they put in there. So without further ado, I want you to make sure you get your libations in you. You know, make sure you're all liquored up to have a good time. Dad's Garage does not condone crack smoking, so no crack inside the building. And we're going to have a really good time. Your first comedian coming up to the stage tonight, I'm really excited for you guys to see him. Give it up for Carl Fisk.
All right, how are y'all doing tonight? Yeah, awesome, good stuff, wonderful. Like you said, first time here, so I got my little handy notes phone, so don't judge me too hard. All right, so my name is Carl Fisk. As mentioned, I am a big old nerd. It's not the fun, what's your Hogwarts house kind of nerd, though. It's more like, I trust numbers because they'll never lie to me. I also have the ADHD expansion pack, right? Yeah, there you go. Don't remember agreeing to those terms and conditions, but here we are anyway. I've tried a lot of different medications over the years and stuff. Never really found anything that works, so now I'm just kind of raw dogging life with just a deficit disorder and an obsession with learning things, right? I'm real fun at parties, yeah. For better or for worse, having ADHD without medication is like having hold of a fire hose, right? You just gotta hold on tight, pray that shit does not spray you halfway across the state, but everything it hits on the way is getting soaked, so there's that too, right? For a few of my splash zones, for lack of a better word, over the past few years have been psychology and neurology, right? Fun bit of bio for you. So we humans and all large animals have a brain, right, you know, in theory, and this controls things like emotion, instinct, survival, stuff like that, right? Humans have this enlarged prefrontal cortex, which is like a little mini brain driving our main brain. And it organizes our main brain thoughts so that we can do cool things like use reason, use language, and justify genocide. Things like that. A lot of cool stuff coming from that prefrontal cortex here. So if our prefrontal cortex is our CEO, our brain is like the workers, right? The workers create thoughts and ideas. The CEO decides what to do with those, and then takes credit for them also. Additionally, carrying on that metaphor, like a lot of modern CEOs, the prefrontal cortex doesn't really give a shit what the workers think. And eventually the workers get sick of this and they stop working right. In industry, this is called a strike. In psychology, this is called depression, and there's bills for it, right? A lot of what makes us miserable nowadays is this brain disconnect going on. Social niceties are a great example of that, right? Our prefrontal cortex loves making up complex social rules. Consider dating. Right. The male of the species must approach the female, but he must know ahead of time if his advances are desired for fear of being branded as toxic. Meanwhile, the female must take care to be friendly, but not too friendly, and to appear hot, but not too hot for fear of being considered slutty. In this delicate dance, everybody is miserable and nobody has a good time. It's like a fucking game of chess, right? Animals, they don't have prefrontal cortexes. They don't have this same problem here, this pretense. If there's two dogs, right, and those dogs like each other an awful lot, you're gonna have to explain to any kids nearby why dogs like piggyback rides, right? At the same time, if one dog is not into it, it's getting bit by the other dog. It's super straightforward and clear, right? How much more streamlined would that dating process be, right? Hey, saw you across the bar and okay, yeah, you know what? Got you. You have yourself a nice night. It's nice, it's clear, it's straightforward. Talking of dating here, gotta give a shout out to my partner Kate, who you will all see later on this evening. She's great. I'm warming it up for her here. Kate is very patient with me, right? And she understands me and my brain. She'll be like, oh my God, honey, it's Friday the 13th this week. It's a little spooky, huh? And then there's me. Did you know that Friday the 13th is the day that the Catholic Church in 1307 betrayed the Templars, and that's why it's considered an unlucky day? Okay, yeah, that's, gosh, that's interesting, babe. What do you want to do? We could write an article about how this means you shouldn't blindly trust religious authority. Yeah, okay, do you want to try again? We can see a movie. That's the one. There we go. It can be exhausting, but she's very patient for me. Luckily, well, for a while, I legitimately thought that I was asexual, right? I always found the concept of like optimizing hydroelectric power much more interesting than thrusting. It just occupies my brain. Luckily, I did find a solution to my sexual woes eventually. It is kink. Yeah. Kink is just banging, but for your brain. It's sex, but you add psychology to it. It's sex for nerds, right? Nerd. I mean, if you think a DNA helix is twisted, you should see how Bill Nye fucks. That'll remind you that we are descended from apes. All right, thank you all very much.
Give it up one more time for Carl Fisk, everybody. I don't know if I mentioned my name when I first came up here. I'm your host, Ron Emile. I usually don't say things because I have a warrant, so I don't give my name freely. All right, so your next comedian, very, very funny. Give it up for Caroline Robb.
I have seizures, and my friend has Tourette's. We are awesome at parties. Turn off the music and on the strobe lights, and we are the greatest breakdance beatboxers you'll find. One day we were talking, and she told me a camp that she went to when she was a kid. It was called Camp Twitch and Shout. I said, wow, that's the darkest thing I've ever heard. And she said, well, there's more. There's a Camp No Limb It's for amputee children. There's a Camp Second Chance for kids with organ transplants. And there was even one for me called Camp Carpe Diem, which is Seize the Day. For a hot second, I had to wear a helmet. The doctors didn't know why I was moving like that, so to try and figure it out, they had me wear this 3-day, non-removable, gauzed-up helmet with wires attached to my fanny pack. Everyone kept treating me like I was about to win a free trip to Disney. It was crazy. I felt like a human heaven or hell detector. Like the lady who let me cut in front of her in line unprovoked, she's in. I'm not, because I said, thank you. My family calls me eggs because my brain is scrambled. Me and my sister used to work at the same restaurant, and I was busting tables across the way, and she's standing with a group of our coworkers, and she screams out, eggs! I said, yeah? She said, nothing. They just did not believe you were going to reply. The seizures give me a big excuse to smoke. Whenever I go to places where it's legal and I'm visiting my friends, we go to like a shop or a dispensary, and I'm like, wow, this is so nice. I'm using Apple Pay to buy drugs. And then they'll ask me, well, what do you do? I have to go to some guy's apartment named Frost. You get this contact in high school or from your most recent laboring job. So, you get this contact in high school for your most recent laboring job. Sometimes I wonder what my contact is in his phone, because I've never given him my name. It's just cracker number 9. My dad's from Lebanon, so I'd say I'm more of a pita chip. The best deals are when you just text here and they come out. The worst is when you have to go in. It looks like a 7th grader's bedroom in there with like really bad parents. There's multicolored LED lights and posters, and there's somebody practicing fractions at the kitchen table. Or you meet up in an empty parking lot. You get an address, a time, and a car description. You get there and he'll always be 30 minutes late. One time I got in, he said, get down. I said, for show. I didn't know what I was getting down for. I just didn't want to get upcharged for not knowing what I was doing. Another thing about me is I have 3 bunnies, which might sound like a lot, but I used to have 7. I started with 1, and it turns out she was pregnant, the crazy slut. I wanted to keep all of her babies, but I live in a small apartment, and she drinks, so she's no help with her kids. Another thing about them is that they're illegal aliens. My apartment does not know I have them. And I used to have this massive size cage for them that wasn't easily hideable. So if maintenance would ever need to come, what I would do is I would put the bunnies in the closet and shut the door. And then I would put the helmet back on to get inside of the cage. And then, because that looks better, it's something for me, not them. After that, I have my roommate come in and let them know that when I was a kid, I went to a camp called Who's There for the Schizophrenics. This is just something I do. Thank you, I'm Caroline Ross.
Give it up for Caroline one more time. So fun, so fun. All right, your next comedian coming to the stage, all the way from SWAT, and on top of that. Give it up for Cedric Sheffield.
All right, let's have some fun. When I say every day, y'all say dope. Every day. Dope. Every day. Dope. All right, good crowd. Good crowd. I forgot my joke. Ah, shit. Well, wait, y'all, wait. This happened once before, though. But it was 1987, I was giving an Easter speech. Now, I studied that speech all week. Sunday came, I got in front of the church and embarrassed Jesus, and here we are again. I can't. But make some noise if y'all want to hear about the speech. Now, the speech was one word, hallelujah. All I had to do was go up there and say hallelujah, but I couldn't remember it, you know. Then my mother, my poor mother, she was sitting in the front row, you know, so she tried to help me remember it. So she started whispering. She's like, it's the highest praise. I couldn't hear it too tough, so I leaned even closer. She said, it's the highest praise. I said, oh, I got it. I remember my speech now. Good morning, church. It's the highest praise. She's like, no, you idiot. Hallelujah is the highest praise that you can give to God. When he does something good, you say hallelujah. I'm like, Mom, this is your fault, though. This is your troubles. You literally see me dying in front of the church on Easter. Sounds familiar? You're out here giving clues? Like the last time I checked, the study guide had the actual answers, not clues. On the day of sacrifice, Mom, you couldn't give me the answer? Like, I hate it here. I want to be traded. I want to go to a real religion. CrossFit. Over there, they support each other in that church. If somebody's struggling, they get a spot. Not you, Mom. You got me out here on my own. I feel like Patti LaBelle, you know? Oh, man, it's been 36 years since that happened. I'm still traumatized. But things have changed. Now guess who's struggling remembering things? Oh. You don't feel sorry for her, because she still remembers how to be an asshole. Like the other day, she was like, Cedric, have you seen my glasses? I'm like, Mom, they're right there on your face. She goes, hallelujah. Yeah, she's such a damn troll, you know? My mother stresses me out, so now I do comedy. You know, and my sister, she said, boy, the only reason why you do comedy is because you're in a midlife crisis. Now I disagree, because these are the rules. You go through a midlife crisis, you get 2 things. You get a fast car, you get a fine-ass girlfriend. I turned 45 and I ain't get none of that shit. I got braces. I got old people problems, young people problems. I woke up the other day with turf toe, don't know what that is, but oh my God, the pain. You know what I feel like? I feel like my body's heading for retirement, but my teeth are going through puberty. I have no idea what to prepare for on a daily basis. Is it an Xbox tournament or a trip to urgent care? Oh, Dad's Garage, this is going well. I had no idea what kind, it's grad, I had no idea what kind of crowd this would be, I didn't know if it would be easy to make y'all laugh, or would this whole thing be like that one fight I got into in 7th grade? Man, I worked so hard, but nothing landed, Oh my God, I took a L that day. Yes, I did. And then my raggedy friends, they, because the fight was like one punch, boom, it was over. And so they started calling me Vanilla Ice. They said we both got famous from one hit, Oh. So yeah, man, I'm doing this comedy. And it's tough for me because when I first started doing it, like my friends, they wouldn't support me. Like, they just used to let me go out and bomb. My goddaughter's mom, she called me up, she's like, who wasted up in their 40s to want to be a comedian? You're not even funny. You're just a math teacher. I said, listen, man, don't be disrespectful. I'm fully aware that I should have started comedy before I got to the age where I'm struggling with erectile dysfunction. But I'm doing the best I can, And so, I'm 45 now, so I either need, I need hobbies. So it's either write and perform jokes or start playing pickleball. And I ain't playing no goddamn pickleball. Nothing says you've lost it more like playing ping pong on an abbreviated tennis court with a wiffle ball. I'm pretty sure y'all know what pickleball is, but for those of you who don't know, I'll give it to you in SAT terms. Florida is the elderly people. As pickleball is the washed up athletes. It's the place you go when you can't contribute to a real sport anymore. So with that being said, I'll be playing next week. That's my time. Thank you, Dad's Road.
Get over Cedric Sheffield one more time, ladies and gentlemen. So funny, man. Some of these people is their first time doing stand-up, man. So just give it up for them one more time. This is awesome. All right, your next comedian coming to the stage. I want you to put your hands together for Taylor Smith.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So I broke my funny bone doing stand-up comedy, and I want to apologize in advance if this set is only half as funny. I just want to ask a general question. For whoever put the year 2020 back into the VCR, please be kind and rewind and eject the tape immediately. Like seriously, the Chiefs just beat the 49ers. 2 old white guys are running for president, and somebody just caught bubonic plague in Oregon. I'm starting to feel this sense of deja vu, and I am also sensing some dread too. I grew up in the South, if you can't tell by my accent. Did y'all hear how Alabama just executed its first death row inmate via nitrogen asphyxiation? Yeah, that was messed up, but I heard what's even more messed up is how they're going to execute their death row inmates next month. I heard they're going to use them as crash test dummies for Boeing. Sorry if that joke didn't land with some of y'all, but I'm gonna move on. So I grew up in a small southern conservative town, and when I was a teenager, I got into musical theater, which is something you should probably not get into if you're growing up in a small southern conservative town. I grew up in the kind of town with a sign that read, if you hit this sign, you will hit that bridge. Almost nailed to the bridge. I also grew up in a town where a lot of my classmates believed and still believe that Obama is not from the United States. Yeah, it's that kind of town. But what's even worse is that it's so backwards, I'm not even joking, a few weeks ago the fire department burned down. So, I don't know how much more backwards we can get. So anyway, so I was in a local production of a High School Musical when I was 14 or 15, and during the production, they ran out of wireless mics. Yeah, I know. It's really tragic, you know? What's even more tragic is that I had really terrible acne at this age. I had more oil on my face than the BP spill. Yeah, my parents were always telling me about how bad my acne looked, and it felt like I had a 24-hour camera on my face telling me how bad my skin looked. Yeah. It's okay, I turned out okay. I'm in stand-up comedy, you know? So, you know, they ran out of wireless mics, and so they had to give me a puffball mic much like this, but I had to hold it to my skull, otherwise, if I moved it, the sound system would blow out. So I'm having to hold it up to my skull, like so, and all the skin flakes and oils are just getting onto the puffball. Yeah, I was in that musical not just to try out musical theater, but also to get with the girls. You know, I literally thought that if I was in musical theater, that the girls would come to me, like I would be a chick magnet. But I screwed around and found out that having clang, clang, clang with the trolley as a ringtone is not a good idea or a good strategy. It's never a good strategy. You know, people accused me of being gay a lot when I was in school. They teased me for liking musicals, and my mom came up with this brilliant strategy for dealing with bullies. She told me I had to look them straight in the eye and go, "Your mom doesn't think I'm gay." Yeah, and while they were thinking of me screwing their mom, I had about like maybe 20 or 30 seconds to get away from them. But that strategy quickly wore off because they figured out I didn't have game. I think all this activity was why my prom date was a lesbian. Yeah. Now I had terrible gaydar at the time. I had really bad social skills when I was a teenager, if you couldn't tell already. But looking back, there were some signs. Like, for instance, when I went to ask her for prom, she was wearing a Rosie O'Donnell shirt. And when I went to go pick up my tux, she was actually already at the tuxedo rental place picking out the same tux. And when we finally got to prom, I asked her if she wanted to dance, and she was like, "No, I'll just hang out here with the girls." Yeah, growing up, people also told me I lacked self-discipline. My dad was like, "Get aggressive, get aggressive." And yeah, he was really athletic and stuff. And you know, he had a point. I lacked self-discipline, but you know who else has self-discipline? Serial killers. Think about it. Think about it. They have to stalk their victim, plan the murder, kill their victim, chop their body up, get on a true crime podcast. It's a lot of work. But you know, if I had the same level of ambition, I'd probably be running for Congress. You know, running for Congress, it just is like, you know, being a sociopath, 50% of being sociopath, 50% having marketing budget. Basically the same level as being a serial killer. I'm just grateful my mom didn't raise me to be a serial killer. She raised me to be a Democrat. So thank you all so much for your time. My name is Taylor Smith. Have a great night.
Taylor Smith, everybody. Taylor Smith. All right, coming up to the stage next, I'm very excited for you to see this young lady. Give it up for Kim McKenzie.
So, I'm recently married. Thank you. Turns out marriage is a sham. Yeah. I thought that when I got married, I was going to be done dating, but it turns out I'm not. I just now date couples. If you think finding one person's hard, try finding 4 people who have chemistry. Yeah. And sex or love is no longer the objective. Instead, your grand prize is finding a couple that you like enough to hang out with them quarterly. Yes, it's very exciting. And there's not like an easy way to meet these people either. There's not like a cute dating app like Frupples or Connect4 or Foursome. No, you just have to meet these people like blindly out in the wild. So like buying pineapples at your local grocery store, or sitting next to them at Benihana, or standing together in a police lineup. And if you do find someone that you like, you better hope that you also like their spouse. Because if you don't, there's not exactly an easy way to sit them down and be like, it's not you. It's not me. It's your husband who can't shut the fuck up. You married a troll, Tina. You married a troll. And sometimes both people are really great. They're just like not great together. My husband and I went to dinner a few months ago with a couple, and it was going really well. When the husband decides like this is the perfect moment to bring up he'd invited his mom to come stay for a week. In fact, it appears he had not told his wife because her immediate reaction was, "Oh, really, Todd?" And then it began, the world's greatest ping pong match of bickering. Why did you give our Netflix password to George Santos? Why do you insist on being so pro Nickelback? Why do you think that your British accent sounds Russian? Stop putting dog shit in the freezer! Jerry Springer, the Grant Park of edition. No, but I'm being harsh. Like, not all couples are a bad hang. Like, sometimes you do find, like, really amazing couples, like, all of you gel, and it's just absolutely perfect. But that's when they call and they let you know that they're getting divorced. Or even worse, they're having a baby. Goodbye, friendship. No, but it's a hard fact of life, though, that other people aren't always the problem. Like, sometimes, like, you're the problem. I love my husband. He's very exotic. He came all the way here from Canada, married me for a green card, but he's very much like a classic Renaissance man, you know? Like, he plays 8 instruments, he speaks multiple languages, he currently sits on Interpol's no-fly list. He doesn't like to share any of that, but he's now getting this like front row seat to what was going on in my brain when we first started dating. We went to dinner with a couple recently, and we're leaving their house after dinner, and we're probably like 10 feet away from their door when I turned to my husband and I'm like, "So how do you think that went?" "I had fun." "Did you have fun? Or did I make them uncomfortable with the joke about my period? Or when I asked if they'd ever been part of a cult?" Because I definitely feel like he was weirded out. I was so convinced he was a conjoined twin, but I do think that they appreciated the story about Linda, my former ghost roommate. "We should invite them to Paris with us next month. Do you think that's too soon?" To which he responded, "They can definitely still hear you." I think like the only bright side is that at least being married, like sex is always an option at the end of the night. Though it probably was with Brad from Hinge as well. So speaking of sex, for the couples out there, raise your hand if you've ever been, propositioned by another couple. Anyone? Any takers? Okay, a few people over here. Okay, this table. So I'm not sure if I have. We had over a couple a few weeks ago, and we're drinking wine, and it was like going really well. And then the husband out of nowhere was kind of like if we were swingers. And we were like, "Ah, that's funny." But then they brought it up like 4 more times that evening. And each time it felt a little less like an inside joke and a little bit more like they were just asking to have sex. And I started to think like maybe I should have taken their welcome pineapple like a little bit more seriously. But don't get me wrong, like we actually had a really good time with him. Like it was super fun. Like we really want to hang out with him again. We just think that we'll probably have to put out. And so that's sort of like my conclusion is I think if you're really serious about making friends with other couples, there's really only one path, and that's birds of a feather, have sex together. I'm Kim McKenzie. Thanks for coming out. I'll see you on Thursday.
Come on. Sir, you're going to need to stand back. All right, I thought that was funny. Thank you guys very much. But what does look like it's going to happen this year, hopefully not a pandemic, but the Trump-Biden rematch, round 2, stumble in the jungle, right? Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of this Trump character, but he's in the news occasionally. He's orange face, talks funny. Really, he does a lot of this stuff here. He's really ruined professions that use their arms like that. Air traffic controllers, They maybe if you're a school, sports coach, either sign language, right? I really just like to think of Trump as a mime, though. All right, picture this. He's a mime, he's doing the thing that all mimes know how to do, but he can't help himself from talking while he's doing it. He's doing one of these. I'm just gonna do the box thing. Really, when you think about mimes, though, that is a weird thing. Wouldn't all mimes' farts be deadly? Not a good mime if it's not silent. That's a funny joke, I don't care. I don't fart. If I did, I wouldn't smell at all. It is fun to do that impression. That's about the only impression I do. Don't love the man, but that is fun. But before I go, I do have one final impression for y'all. And that's a micro impression here. It's an Italian Fred Flintstone. And his catchphrase is, he says, yeah, bagabagoo. All right. And if you don't think I can say that, I have seen the show The Bear. And some of my family has the last name DiGiulio, so I'm basically Italian. Pretty sure that's how that works. But anyway, that's my time. I'm Colin. I gotta go shave. So you guys been great.
Colin Conroy, everybody. Give it up. Colin, you're not fooling us. You definitely were at January 6th. Trying to get that shit over on us. We're not stupid. All right. Your next comic coming to the stage. Give it up for Memory Morgan.
The only people who should be allowed to dangle truck nuts from their bumpers are men that drive baby blue Nissan Leafs. They have the real balls. Because we all know that people who drive oversized trucks are already overcompensating for something. So throwing on a pair of truck nuts only confirms their membership in the Micro Penis Club. Have you all seen these truck nuts? Yeah. So the ones I've seen have all been hairless, which seems somewhat unrealistic, because if you're the type of guy that hangs a ball sack from your bumper, you're probably not the type of guy that shaves their balls. I do think women need to adopt this bumper trend, this bumper accessory trend, though. I propose a fully customizable line of bumper beavers. There can be different options for bush size and color. There can even be add-on kits for things like vajazzling or discharge or genital wart Then we could see how men like staring at a Dumbo ear-sized bumper beaver, sparsely covered with gray hair, before it's even 7 a.m. while they try to inhale their Egg McMuffin on the way to work. And why stop there? We could go all out with female body part car decor. Like there could be a Happy Bean hood ornament, or car tag clitoris clips, or hubcap hooters, where you could choose the size and color of the breast, nipple, and areola that you would like to have. You could also choose the thickness and length of the nipple hair you'd like to see billowing from your hubcap. And speaking of nipple hair, this is an area in which I feel like my public school education really failed me. I learned about becoming a woman and reproduction and menstrual cycles in school, but never once did anyone mention nipple hair. It's like the line, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Why is there a hair growing out of my areola?" Got cut from the book and the movie. And I don't get why this is such a secret. Women are being more open about menopause and aging, but apparently the first rule of nipple hair is that you don't talk about nipple hair. I had this particularly long and fine nipple hair the other night, but when I went to try to tweeze it, instead of ripping it out, I accidentally curled it into a ringlet. And so I tried again, but this nipple hair would not come out. It just kept curling up tighter and tighter into a cuter and cuter little spiral. It was like I was trying to curl my own ribbon for a fancy gift wrap look if my breasts were the present and my nipple were the center of the bow. So eventually I just gave up, curled the rest of my nipple hair, and walked around topless for the rest of the night like I had just invented a new trend. I even started imagining women walk into their hair salon confidently saying, "Hi, I have a 10 o'clock appointment with Mandy for the Shirley Temple nipple hair styling. She'll be right with you. She's just finishing up a Will Ferrell nipple hair treatment with her last client." If you can't tell, I'm right there at the forefront of middle age, and my parents are both still alive, which is awesome, but sometimes I do look at them and think, time's up. You know, you're really starting to dip into my inheritance now. That last $60,000 you got in your bank account, how much are you really going to be able to enjoy that? Because I could have a really fun mom's trip to Vegas to go see Magic Mike live, ride a tiger, or get arrested skinny dipping in the Bellagio fountains with $60,000. So then I'm so petty, I start using my kids to pilfer off of my parents, because my parents will buy my kids anything they ask for. So I'm like, hey, next time we talk to Gigi, tell her how much you really wish you had a finished basement you could play in, or how much you really wish mommy had a tummy tuck. But being in the sandwich generation is like living in a horror movie. It's terrifying. I'm just living on the edge of my seat. And if you don't know what the sandwich generation is, it's when you have young kids, but you also have aging parents that you worry about both. So anytime my phone rings, my heart skips a beat, I break out in a cold sweat, and I can hear this voice in my head yelling, "Don't answer it, because I know it's either gonna be someone calling to tell me that one of my parents just died, or worse, it's the school calling to tell me that one of my kids is sick, which means I have to cut my Salvador Dali nipple hair styling appointment short to go pick them up." No, but you know what's really great about having kids? I'm asking. Thank you, I'm gonna go.
Memory Morgan, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands. All right, your next comedian coming to the stage. Put your hands together for the very wonderfully talented Tiana Melvina.
I appreciate the energy. Thank you very much. All right, I'll move that shit over there. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, I already had a margarita, so I beat you. Dating really sucks nowadays, okay? I hate this world, or it might be your son's. Just fold me up and put me back in her hole, okay? I've come to terms with the fact that I will probably die alone with not even the same lovely pet that I have right now, because the expiration would have passed. And by the time I'm a successful artist, all of the government funds would have run out for my family and friends to travel on. So I would have missed all the yes, bitches opportunities. It'll be like a brothel of pets, right? Just full of like pussy and bitches just rotating in and out based off of life choices and irresponsibly having kids. I'll be a pimp in my own right. I say dating sucks because I had this really awful, cringy date the other day. Yeah. I like to scope out my prey before I ask for the D. Tales of their life. No, before I ask for the D, y'all know what I'm talking about. And this guy pulls up in a serial killer van, right? The unwanted baby maker machine. The van that you probably got murdered in, or you got transported across the border in, or you got murdered and then transported across the border in. So I was scared. I was real scared. But I was also too broke to pass up this opportunity on free drinks. So I did follow him inside, I did. And we went inside the bar, and the bartender, you know, ordered our drinks and everything. And this guy says, "I like a screwdriver, just for one." And I'm thinking, oh my God, at this point, now I didn't know that a screwdriver was an alcoholic beverage, right? Unchained vodka, I didn't know that. So I'm like, fuck! He's gonna shake me, he's gonna put me in his van, he's gonna take me back to Mexico and be drinking mezcal margaritas with a screwdriver in my hand. The bartender comes back, and I jump up and I say, stranger danger, I'm just 15. You're not invited to my brothel. And I smack the tray drinks down and run out. Now, shout out to all of our domestic violence survivors. Okay. People that been through some toxic shit. Okay, raise your hand if you are that toxic shit and you're just now realizing it. Your kids and your animals are all like, damn, well, this bitter bitch died. And you and your like 700 diseases, you just kicking on. Yeah, bitch, I'm still here. Now, I dated a psycho once, okay? I think anytime you look at yourself in the mirror as a light-skinned African-American male and you convince yourself you're white, something wrong with you, you crazy, boo. And I was a white Dominican. So, you know, I did my due diligence and I said, I'm gonna rent you the N-word, but the cool version, the one that ends in A, not the ER. You just gotta do one little thing for me, one little thing. You gotta call me master during sex. But look, it's gonna be fun. Reparations, since you wanna be white so bad, it's gonna be absolutely okay. He ended up still being racist, I just didn't know. Maybe I should have known by the way he only argued with black women, but I thought he was just a selective prick, you know what I'm saying? So, he accused me of cheating, called me this horrible word, and I said, look at here, all right, listen, I ain't cheat on you. I just temporarily forgot we was in a relationship. And I enjoyed the company of somebody else who was less racist, less delusional, and knew his true color. That's it. So we were arguing about it. And he's like, you know, you cheat on me. I said, look, I ain't cheat on you. And he called me this awful word. So for emotional release, I painted this awful word. I did. I painted it right across the wall of my rental property. My landlord, young white Karen, she didn't like the word nigger being painted in black, red, and gold across her wall. Nah, she didn't like that. So needless to say, my lease is not being renewed. But I told her, well, fuck you, you're not invited to my brothel anyways, bitch. Now, the cool thing about these experiences, they're meant to break you, but in fact, they end up building you up. Slavery, though, that would have broken me. Your master would have been like, now don't you come back here till you got the cotton bag full now. And I would have said, yes, sir. And I'd have never come back, and my lineage would have stopped right there. Because none of them runaways was related to me. No, those field trips to freedom with Auntie Harriet would have killed me. I was raking the leaves the other day, and I got a blister on my thumb that led to me getting the newest strain of COVID. Now I gotta take my sick days in Jamaica. See, I thought to myself, I definitely can't be no man, damn sure couldn't be no slave. I would have been known as the best cocksucker in town. Look, I know. But that would have been my preferred trait. Auntie Harriet would be like, come on, girl, let's run away to freedom. And I would have been like, nah, Auntie Harriet, I got 300 like more BJs to get me to Pennsylvania. Next, drop your drawers. Now, Auntie Harriet would have been known as the runner. I've been known as the one that sucked away to freedom. Thank you very much. My name is Tiana.
Tiana Melvina, everybody. Tiana Melvina. All right, I'm really excited for you guys to see this next comic. I want you to put your hands together for Marcy Mascaro.
Good job, Ron Emile. Okay. So, I understand that we're celebrating a birthday tonight. Yeah. Woo! No? Damn it. I was hoping to squander away my 5 minutes by singing Happy Birthday in the mood of Marilyn Monroe meets like Roseanne Barr. So, anybody celebrating this month? Yeah? Okay. Happy birthday. Later. Aries. Woo! So, I love that I challenge myself to take this improv class because I'll be super honest with you. Ron gives a master class on managing expectations because I literally thought, I didn't know that this was a part of the package, you know. So, awesome, here we are. And I honestly thought that, you know, for the low price of $275-ish, he was just gonna like give the secret recipe to being funny, and we would just like, it just work, you know. And I think a lot of us got much more of that magic sprinkle than the rest of us, and so I'm really supportive of my fellow classmates for sticking it out together for these past 8 weeks, and shout out to Ron for bringing us this far, so thank you. And I actually found out about Dad's Garage one night this summer when I was looking for things to do, and I stumbled upon the website Hands On Atlanta, and there was an opportunity to volunteer at the 10:30 theater sports show. Has anybody seen a show, theater sports show? Yeah. Super fun, right? And so I show up that night after downing a can of Red Bull, because I don't even normally stay up past 11, and introduce myself to my fellow volunteers, thinking I'm here with a bunch of like-minded theater geeks. And it turns out that you can volunteer here in exchange for community service hours, which is also super awesome. So your options are like, you know, basically picking up trash from the side of the road, scraping gum off chairs at the library, or tutoring kids, or you can come volunteer at Dad's. So I think that's super awesome for the community. And then I got really into volunteering, and so I was invited to volunteer for the holiday run of Invasion Christmas Carol. Did anybody see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Super fun. The exchange is volunteers volunteer for 10 shows, and in exchange for a free class. And I did the math. That works out to about $2 an hour. So good job, Dad. Also, they throw in a bunch of swag stuff, and this is the real reason. Honestly, I volunteered because you get invited to the annual Christmas party. And I've been to like 57 corporate Christmas parties, and I was like, I just know that a Christmas party put on by a comedy club is just going to really be an exciting experience. And it was. You know, they had the standard questionable potluck dinner spread, spiked punch, and the guy on the copy machine taking pictures of his ass. So it was a good time. Always a good time at Dad's, and thank you so much for letting me have some of your time. Good night.
Get it for Marcy one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Like she said, this is a class that we offer here at Dad's Garage. So if you're interested in learning about stand-up, you just go to dadsgarage.com. It's an 8-week course, and you get to do your grad show up here in front of all these wonderful people. So coming up to the stage right now is somebody I'm really, really excited for you guys to see. This guy's really, really funny. Give it up for JP Schlick.
How's it going? I feel like this is putting the cart before the horse a little bit. My biggest performance up to this point has been with 10 other aspiring comics in a Methodist church classroom. So this is a step up. You know, I thought an open mic at a pop-up food cart under an overpass would have been the logical progression. Here we are. Yeah, it was in a kindergarten class in the church. So it has, the smallest chairs ever conceived that we're all sitting in. And also surrounded by toys, So, no germs there. But it was nice. There was Legos in the room, and it was comforting because I used to love Legos as a kid. As an adult, though, I think Legos are kind of bullshit, because they kind of, rather than teaching kids how to really engineer something, they're kind of training them to put together IKEA furniture. Like, I don't know how to fix anything. Like, if this end doesn't go into this end, I'm screwed. Like, I try, I do. I Google it, I watch the videos, but I usually just don't have the right tools, Like recently, the heat in my apartment went out, right? My girlfriend doesn't really know how to work the thermostat, and somehow made the heat completely inoperable. right? Coldest day of the year at that point. So I looked it up. I Googled it. I watched the videos. Turns out that a gun is the best way to kill your significant other. I didn't have the tool, again. All the other methods seemed a little labor intensive, so I called an electrician, you know? It's the Wild West. Can't get away with that anymore. Can't do that. Yeah, Wild West. The Wild West. We're obsessed with the Wild West, kind of as a society. I don't even know if we realize it half the time, you know? Like the Chiefs and the 49ers, right? Like we're playing out Cowboys and Indians on the country's biggest stage, you know? And as a term, I feel like Wild West is overused, you know? Like at first it was the internet. Internet was Wild West. It's Wild West. We don't understand it. It's unregulated. Crypto's Wild West. Now it's AI, right? AI's Wild West. Is it? Is it Wild West? Is AI ambushing your family and friends on a cross-country road trip? Murdering the men and scalping them and enslaving the women and children? I don't know. I don't have the latest ChatGPT update, but last I checked, we weren't quite there, you know? Like AI isn't robbing trains on horseback and killing innocent bystanders indiscriminately, you know? It's not there, but some people love it. Some people love to live as though they're still in the Wild West, you know? Like I was out west in a pretty rural part of the country, and there was a sign and it had a rifle on it, and above it read, "We don't dial 911." Which I was like, damn, that's an aggressive way to tell people how you deal with your sick and infirm. But I thought about it. I was like, well, they're pretty far out here. Ambulance ride is expensive, you know? I'm sure they already have the gun, you know? In case someone fucks around with the thermostat and just has to find out, you know? Yeah. But one thing I do think is Wild West, and just go with me on this, is I feel like weed is Wild West. Like I do. Like weed isn't legal here. It's not, but you can go into any store and walk out and just be stoned as hell, you know? Because it's hemp, they legalized hemp. And within a year of them legalizing hemp, there was like 12 brand new compounds that never existed before that can all fuck you up. Like crazy. You know, there's the CBD, the Delta 8, the Delta 9, the CBN, the THCV. I mean, it's overwhelming. And I'm a purist, you know? I'm more into, you know, the classics, the Headband, the Jack Herrera, the OG Kush. But there are some fun ones. There's some fun ones, right? Like I tried the Arnold strain the other day, which just makes you talk with an Austrian accent. You know? Makes you feel kind of yoked. You check yourself out in the mirror, like, oh yeah. You know, it does give you this overwhelming urge to kind of want to bang your housekeeper. I don't know. It's not a problem for me. You know, I'm not in that income bracket, but if you are, just beware. You know, there's the George Santos strain. That's a fun one, you know? That's a big roll of the dice, you know? That's 8 different strains in one. You never know what you're gonna get. Luckily, it doesn't last too long. It's over pretty quick. There's the gentrification strain. Gentrification strain, that makes you want to kind of just move in and never leave. Sorry to my neighbors, I've been consuming that one for the last 2 years. It's affordable, I'm staying. But you know, they're trying to hit all the demos, you know? Like, they had the Epstein strain. Oh no. For the kids. All right guys, thank you. My name's JP Schlick. Have a good night.
JP Schlick, everybody. His first time doing stand-up in front of an audience, man. Isn't that awesome? Didn't he do great? Yeah. All right. The next comic is very, very funny, coming here from New York City, but she relocated to Atlanta, Georgia. Give it up for Kate Cortelliu.
Thanks, Ron. And thanks, Carl, for my shout out earlier. So I actually signed up for this stand-up class without realizing I was gonna have to actually do stand-up. So I don't know, it makes me really wonder what goes on in sex therapy. Oh boy, Kate, what you signed yourself up for this time? No, but I like being in class again. I always liked school. I was a pretty type A student, you know, kind of Hermione Granger. We have other millennials here. Woo! So, you know, we grew up with Harry Potter, right? But I have to say, I find the magic system of the Harry Potter world to be inconsistent, right? Like, they can magically heal broken bones, but Harry Potter is still walking around with astigmatism like a fucking muggle. They probably have, like, magical erection spells, but if you need a magical abortion, you're fucked. Also, the wizarding world was created by J.K. Rowling, so I don't think there's any gender-affirming magic. Changing your body with polyjuice potion is okay, but hormones, not so much. I also have to say, I don't really enjoy most action movies because all of the car crashes and the collateral damage make me feel very anxious about everybody's, like, car insurance premiums. Like, I don't know, I don't think I've ever seen any of the Fast and the Furious franchise drivers exchange license numbers or contact information. Flo from Progressive is probably like, hi guys, you're SOL on this one. Have a nice day. It's probably for the best, though, that these movies aren't concerning themselves with mundane, real-world things like taxes and insurance premiums, because, you know, it'd just be a very different kind of movie, right? Like the X-Men would have a lot of trouble qualifying for healthcare. Because of all of the pre-existing conditions. Like, you thought having asthma was bad, try having retractable claws. Or like Bruce Wayne tries to write his Batmobile off on his taxes and he gets audited. The Mad Max tries to get a quote and the Geico Gecko is just like, feck off, mate. So actually, car insurance is a new thing for me. As Ron said, I came here from New York, where we have amazing public transit. Yeah. So it wasn't until I moved to Atlanta that I had to learn the joys of private transit. It was wordplay. Atlanta sort of has public transit in the form of the MARTA, but it's too unpredictable for me. And I'm not talking about safety, I literally mean like getting anywhere on time. So yeah, I was an avid pedestrian. I didn't bike, I didn't skateboard, I didn't do anything. So let me tell you, learning how to drive in your 30s, when you're set in your ways, is like being the new kid in school, and it's halfway through junior year, and everyone else knows each other, and you have no idea what the fuck is going on. And fam, learning how to drive in Atlanta, it's like everyone's glued to their phones and they're running to get anywhere, and there's, you know, a couple of bullies kind of zipping in between people to trip you and cause a pileup. And also, there's just random chunks of the hallway missing everywhere. The hallways will very suddenly split off with no warning, so you have to think fast. You keep going to the wrong classroom because they're all labeled Peachtree. Learning how to drive with anxiety is like the school is also swarming with fuck tons of yellow jackets. So I actually did get into a crash my first time trying to drive on the road in Atlanta. I did, this is real. Yeah, it was scary, guys. And the guy who hit me was driving a trailer for a company, so he was on the clock. He was like a young guy, kind of cute, and he was very apologetic. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, man, this was all my fault. Hey, can I maybe get some of your pee? And I was like, only in Atlanta would someone rear end you and then try to rear end you. So I'm like, no, you may not have my pee. And he's like, oh, no, that's chill, that's cool. I'll be right back, I'm gonna go to the gas station up there. They got synthetic urine. I'll be right back. So this is apparently a real product. It's marketed as a fetish product. I'm not, you know, trying to kink shame, but I do think in this case his fetish was passing a drug test. You know. But he did actually come back, like he said he would. So we ended up, you know, smoking a J, having some fun. That's why I'm in sex therapy now. But now it's been a little while. I've gotten more comfortable with driving, so I've also started to learn some new things, like road rage. Yeah. So in New York, I had what I call pedestrian rage, which is the real, like, a taxi's coming over and and I'm like, hey, I'm walking here, unironically. But now, in the privacy of my own car, where nobody else can hear me, it's like, get out of the way, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, suck my dick, broom fucker! I learned that at Hogwarts. I'm Kate Cortelli, thank you guys.
Everybody's so fucking funny tonight. Give it up for Kate one more time. Even though I'm not a native Atlantean, I feel like I need to speak up for Atlanta that everybody else moving from everywhere else has messed up the city. You know, I'm gonna take myself out of it because I've assimilated. But Atlanta's a special place, man. I really love this place. All right, coming to the stage next. This is really special to me because this is actually my ex-wife. This is crazy.
That's why I don't use my last name, Emile. How this works. Anyway, if you hear any strange noises coming from the stage tonight, it's because I'm trying to hold in my fart. The other day, a week ago Sunday, I found a roach that was floating in my sink, and we don't have those in Rhode Island. And then I saw one on the floor, and I immediately grabbed it, because I didn't want the dogs to get it, and I squeezed it, and then I lit it. I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a great Sunday. One of the things I really like about Atlanta is how you have all of these pot shops on every corner, like Waffle House. It's so weird. My daughter was trying to talk me into coming down here, and she said, Mom, the men down here love big booties. So I came. A lot. And she was right. She was right. The men down here love big booty. One of the first things I did was find a new gynecologist. I had not had a male gynecologist in over 50 years. And my new one is so cute, so handsome, first male I've had in 50 years, and so gay. I know, there are 4 gay gynecologists in Atlanta, believe it or not. Anyway, I feel really, really comfortable with him, and I feel like we're kind of like best friends, mostly because we both like the same things. Dicks. We both like dicks, and he pulls up Amazon, and we shop for lube, and he's such an expert when it comes to lube, and I have to buy it by the case because at this stage in the game, I basically have to take a bath in it. I have my watch set to go off every hour on the hour, so I'll remember to re-lube up. It's sort of like a labia lubathon around here. Labia lubathon, labia lubathon, labia lubathon. Try to say that 3 times. It's like a mouthful. And guess who loves a mouthful? Please don't tell my daughter if you know it. The other thing he told me the last time I saw him was use your thumb to stretch it. But by the time I got home, I couldn't remember which hole I was supposed to stretch. But then I thought, I've got 2 thumbs, so I did what I call the cow. A doctor for, I was going bald, so I had to go to a dermatologist who was specialized in hair loss. I know, fat and bald. It's really, honestly, not a good look. I wasn't looking forward to it, and anyway, she said you have alopecia. I was like, what the what? What the what? What the what? Alopecia? The 5-year-old girl gave me that what the what, by the way. Alopecia. I said, my dog has alopecia. Did I give it to my dog? Did my dog give it to me? My dog sleeps with me. I sleep with my dog. I sleep with my dog. I don't sleep with my dog. And if you're thinking I sleep with my dog. As we say in Rhode Island, naughty, naughty, naughty. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Naughty, naughty. Really very, very naughty. So naughty. I can't remember where the fuck I am in this. And he's telling me to get off, but I'm actually not really ready to get off. Oh no, honestly, ad-libbing here, I'm always ready to get off. I just want to say that this is my 1-year anniversary of doing stand-up at Dad's Garage. I'm turning 75 in May, and I think that I didn't know anyone when I moved here. I've made lots of friends. We have a fantastic teacher, my ex-husband, Ron. And I love it so much, and so I'm just encouraging you all to take that leap of faith and, oh fuck, I forgot the best joke. Go ahead! Oh my God, so I go to the hair, she says, you have alopecia. She's giving me all these shots. She's so worried that I'm in pain, right? And I finally say to her, no, listen lady, I gotta tell you, I love pain, You cannot flog me hard enough, right? And, sorry. I mean, honestly, this is the best thing. Nipple clips are my friends. Plus, an over-the-knee, bare-bottom spanking. My safe word is watermelon. I may have to change it since I moved here. But if you hear me say watermelon, stop. Thank you very much. Ron Emile.
Give it up for Kid one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Woo. Now you see why we got a divorce. She wanted me to call her Bassa and Bay. All right. Jesus Christ, I love that woman. So talented. Everybody's been so good tonight, right? Yeah. All right. The next comic is very, very funny. Hailing from Atlanta, Georgia, she's an original. Get up for Farrah Perry.
Hi. So, I'm from Atlanta, like Ron just said. And in Atlanta, we have a tendency to want to rebrand regular ass events as trap. So we know that these events are for black people and white women with mixed sons named Aiden. I'm noticing the faces of some of our white participants in the audience. They're looking at me like, oh God, I did not realize this set was going to be black. I'm not going to understand shit. So let me explain what trap is so we're all on the same page for equality purposes. So trap refers to a trap house. A trap house is a home typically located within the ghetto community where handmade drugs are sold. Artisanal goods, if you will. Thank God she explained that. I might rethink my stance on reparations now. No, just kidding. So we have all kinds of trap events in Atlanta, right? We have trap yoga, trap sushi, trap soap making, trap bingo. Like, bro, just say it's bingo. All it means is that we're gonna start about 37 minutes late. You're gonna play T.I. and 2 Chainz, and there's gonna be a hookah for whatever reason. I recently discovered that there's something called Trap Church. The sign said, "Come get right with the Lord, nigga." And I can only imagine what is going on in there. Communion is probably a Popeye's biscuit and a shot of Hennessy. They're in there praying to Mary the Virgin. And instead of feeding the homeless, they give them just a little bit of lean. All right, I'm going to talk about something else so I don't lose the white people entirely. So, white people, I was reading your publication the other day, the New York Times, and in it, there's an article about dating over 65. And in the article, they spoke to a woman named Janet, and Janet said she joined Hinge in order to get back into the dating scene. And I felt the deepest level of pity for Janet because dating at 35 is hard. Dating at 25 is hard. Dating at 65 actually is not so hard anymore because you can just take a pill, wait 30 minutes, and then nothing can stop you. You're all the way up. But online dating at 65 presents an entirely new set of challenges, right? Like you got some 80-year-old texting you, "You up?" at 6 p.m. Or you gotta wonder if Wilbur ghosted you because he's no longer interested. No, baby, Wilbur ghosted you because he died of natural causes 3 days ago. Which actually brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, my boo. I feel like the marketing for irrational fears was too strong in the 80s and 90s. Like, I'm still worried about the crack epidemic and how that might potentially impact my mother's back. Speaking of fears, it's an election year. And I feel like they're coming on too strong with this most important election ever crap, right? Like, it's desperate, it's needy, it's gross. I think they should play it a little cooler, right? Like this should be the, yeah, you know, it's cool if you vote, but I don't know, maybe you shouldn't election. And I think voter turnout would be higher because if there's one thing Americans love, it's being told that they should not do something. Like, imagine trying to tell an American that they should not vote. Fuck you mean, I shouldn't vote. No, something's wrong. Get my bald eagle. They fly off to exercise their God-given right as an American citizen. I was out the other day and I saw a woman on the side of the road with her baby, and she had this sign, and the sign said, "Lost job, need food." And it really put into perspective, you know, how difficult times are for a lot of people. Not me, because I paid $230 to be in a stand-up class so I could learn how to be funny. But the woman was standing there, and a man approached her, and he walked over to her, put his hand on her shoulder, and he kneeled down and bowed his head, and his lips started moving, and she also bowed her head. And they were like this for a little bit, and then the man got up and walked away. And I'm standing there watching all of this, and I think to myself, this man is a raggedy bitch. We have a woman sitting here saying that she needs food, and the best you can offer her is some food for thought in the form of prayer. So I walk over to the woman, not to give her any money because I'm also a raggedy bitch. I walk over and I say, "Hey, you know, I was standing right over there, and you know, I couldn't help but notice. I know it's none of my business, but what just happened?" And she was holding her baby, and she looked down at her baby, and she looked up at me, and she said, "He got me right with the Lord, nigga!"
Hurry, everybody.
Did you guys have a good time tonight? Yeah! All right, so I have 3 more comics left for you guys tonight that weren't in my class this semester. But one of the people that's coming up to my class took my class a couple of semesters ago, and she's very funny. And I think she's going to have a big name in comedy really, really soon. I want you to give it up for Carrie Vieira!
Wow, Ron Emile, everyone. Let's give it up for Ron. Come on. Yes, and let's take a moment to give it up for all of these baby comics who brought it to the stage and crushed it. So I want you to understand, you guys, that you should absolutely celebrate your achievements today because it was your own ability. You were successful because you honed your craft and you knew your abilities, not Ron's. No. And anyone here sitting in the audience tonight, has anyone here done stand-up? Okay, so I can't see you. So if you could just shout out, like, what was that like for you? What was the experience like?
Exhilarating.
Exhilarating. Yeah, that's one way to describe it. I like to describe it like an episode of Naked and Afraid. It's like, you'll be happy if you succeed, but you just hope you don't have diarrhea on yourself. Yeah, it's true. Now, I would say that what is like, we're gonna audience poll. What's something that stand-ups are afraid of happening when they're on stage?
Forget your lines.
Heckling.
Heckling? Heckling is interesting, right? Heckling is interesting because, y'all, comics have like 9 stomachs, and they're all deep caves of pain. So like, really like, it's the heckler who's super brave, you know, because they could just come at you. Now, I was thinking more like bombing, right? Bombing is really scary. And I will tell you that the first time I bombed on stage, maybe even tonight, I don't know, but the first time I bombed on stage, it was really enlightening because the whole crowd was warmed up and they were just rooting for me, right? And then I knew they were rooting for me because I heard a woman in the 3rd row say, "Oh, she's trying." All right, it's a packed house, sold out crowd, and I am talking about whatever I'm talking about, and I start to feel like panic and insecurity and shame, and I was like, oh my God. This is what it's like to be a man. This is just a moment for me. How do they live like this? Like, how do we still have men left? Like, it's incredible. And so I'm having this outer body experience, like I'm on an ayahuasca trip, and suddenly I'm understanding things I never even cared about, like politics and war and Joe Rogan. I was like, how is this happening? Suddenly I want to like fight dogs and like beat women and tell them what to do. I was like, oh my God. And I staggered off stage and I found my gay bestie and I was like, I don't know what just happened, but I really think maybe I'm just one of those really beautiful people who's trying to do something that's just not in her wheelhouse. And my bestie grabbed my hands and he looked me in the eyes and he said, "Oh, sweetie, you are not being fair with yourself right now." And I was like, "Okay, tell me why." And he was like, "Well, you're not that pretty." Okay, fine. And then, doing comedy, so I didn't give up because I was in my man head there, and then now I'm like back in my woman body. And like, I do comedy with a lot of young, beautiful comics, and they are so fresh-faced and they have natural collagen. It's really such a beautiful thing. And I've really never been treated with that level of respect that I experience with them, which is none. But, no, truly, I do get respect, but it's more like the same tolerant respect they show their grandmas, or as I like to think, their super hot Gen X abuelas. I do have 2 daughters. And I was very, very young when I had my children. My parents would say I was too young. I was only 37. Yeah, that's just babies having babies, you guys. But I love my kids. My kids, they're great. They're average, right? And you know, like they're average. It's true. They're average. I've said average, yeah. And like, you know, they're in gifted programs, but they're gifted programs in Georgia. Who cares? You know? Sometimes most nights, let me be honest, most nights I sit at the dinner table with my 5th grader and I write jokes while she does her homework or whatever 5th graders do. And I realized this was kind of problematic because I got called to an emergency parent-teacher meeting with her teacher. And I got there and I sat down and her teacher said, I would like you to take a look at your daughter's homework on metaphors. And I was like, okay. She's like, I'd like you to read this aloud to me. I said, okay, great. And I started to read and she said, no, stand up. So I stood up and I said, pregnancy. Okay, I looked at it again. Pregnancy is exactly like eating at Taco Bell. There's a lot of unknowns. And who doesn't like eating vagina-shaped food stuffed with meat? And it's a lot of fun getting there, but when it's all said and done, you feel one thing: regret. And then it's you standing alone in the bathroom, up all night, sweating and crying, and sometimes there's blood. And I took a moment, and I realized 2 things. Firstly, my 5th grader is a joke-stealing hack. And second, there's always blood. There's always blood. I gotta change that. And so she stood there looking at me, expecting me to say something. And so I wanted to ask her the right question. And the only thing that came to my mind was, well, did she get a laugh? And her teacher was like, do you think this is a joke? And I was like, well, yeah. I thought it was a joke, but in that moment I realized I think I might be bombing at motherhood too. My name is Carrie Vieira. Thank you so much.
Give it up for Carrie Vieira, everybody! Keeping affirmative action alive, one joke at a time. You know, white women were the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action. Did everybody know that? I want me to drop science on y'all. You know what I mean? They take away shit from us, thinking they're taking away shit from us, but they really taking shit away from y'all. But anyway, coming to the stage next. Very, 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 very talented comedian. You can see her all over the city performing. Get her for Elise Lassick.
Hey, Dads, how are we doing tonight? We're having a good time. Oh man, I love seeing everybody drinking on a Monday. I also like to start my week off by giving up. I saw this crazy thing today. Okay, get this. Apparently they're outlawing bidets because they compete with the toilet paper industry. Free market economy, my ass. Are we Amazon people in here? Do we love Amazon? We're Amazon. Awesome. Me too. I love Amazon so much. My sweater is from Amazon, actually. The coolest thing about Amazon, though, is that they're so much like me and like how I was in my 20s. They'll take back anything. Are we in love? Is anybody in love here? Woo! That wasn't enough love. I'm in love. I met my boyfriend in kind of a cute way. I always like telling people. So I was out one night and he was the karaoke guy. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, can you play this song? And he was like, no, please leave. And as I was leaving, I was like, Elise, this man turned you down in just 2 seconds upon meeting you. He's your type. But we spent so much time together. And the thing is, when you spend a lot of time with somebody, you guys end up morphing into the same person. Which is fine because I love me. And like, we'll finish each other's sentences, we'll think the same thoughts, our periods are on the same day. We're the same. The only big substantial difference between me and him is that he eats meat, I don't, I just wear it. And I thought I was doing something great for the environment, right? But no, turns out plants actually feel pain. My first thought upon hearing this, there's gonna be a lot of cucumbers asking a lot of questions. Right. She's like, I know, I buy a lot of produce. But you know, now it's got me thinking about like all the poor agave plants I've tortured for our margarona. Like, since when did being an alcoholic mean you're selfish? Bullshit. Exactly. I'm helping the environment, all right? Every time they add points to my license, that's 6 weeks of cleaner air. I even failed a sobriety test on a bird scooter just so I could curb Taylor Swift's carbon emissions in half. Every time she walks to the kitchen, there's a new endangered species. Right now it's the Chiefs. I'm 30 years old and I've never been to Disney World. Tragic, right? All. And my friends, they're always trying to get me to go. You know, they're like, Elise, you need to go to Disney World. You get to relive being a child. I'm like, you mean the thing we're running away from? How about the time I was stood up at my birthday party when I was 8? Where's the ride for that? We're like, yeah, remember? We didn't invite you last year. But I feel like I'm too old for Disney, you know? And it's for kids. And my friends are like, no, Elise, you go to Epcot, and then you get to be drunk around the kids. I'm like, you guys, I don't want to be drunk around children, okay? I'm not a teacher. And like, I didn't go to Disney World. My parents didn't take us to Disney World. They took us to Universal Studios. You know, my dad was like, there's got to be a Boogie Nights ride somewhere. And you know, they weren't Disney adults or anything, like those parents who lie and say they're taking their 1-year-old because their 1-year-old loves it. And it's like, no, your kid's 1, it doesn't know what's going on. That's for you. Just like when my parents would take us to the casino growing up. That was for them, that was not for us. And if you're wondering what happens to a child that's raised in that environment, well, my brother has a gambling problem now. And it's so sad because nobody says anything to him about it. Because he wins. Alright, I'm gonna finish out this one joke. We're a sex positive crowd here, right? We can handle some of that shit. Okay, cool. So my friends, they like to share a lot of personal stuff. One of my friends was telling me that she is not able to achieve orgasm through sex. Right, not with men, especially not with men, not with women, with nobody, not even herself. Right. And she's like, I'm just gonna give up. And I'm like, are you serious? Don't stop there. Like, come on, Rebecca, what are your quarterly goals this year, okay? Let's get you off that vaginal treadmill. And I learned that she was taking antidepressants. And one of the side effects of antidepressants is not being able to achieve an orgasm. So I said to her, I'm like, you need to stop taking these pills. And she's like, Elise, you are overstepping. She's like, I take these meds because they make it so I don't want to kill myself. And she was like, I would much rather not want to kill myself than have an orgasm. And I'm like, listen, there's been many times where having an orgasm has made me not want to take my own life. Never has not wanting to take my own life given me an orgasm. Like, nobody's walking outside like, oh my God, it's such... Oh my God, I've lost the punchline. Oh, here it is. No one's walking outside being like, oh my God, it's such a great day to be alive. Ah! All right, my name's Elise Lassick. Thank you guys. Give it up for your awesome host, Ron.
Give it up for Elise Lassick one more time. So funny. She's so funny. You can also see her at the Laughing Skull too. So yeah, check her out. She's awesome. I really enjoy her comedy. All right, your host closing us out tonight at the Hollywood Improv, the Comedy Store. I'm really excited for you guys to see him. He's a really good friend of mine. He used to buy weed for me. I don't do that shit no more. I got children now. I had to grow the fuck up. Give it up for Christian Davis!
Thank you, Ron. Give it up for Ron one time, right? Give it up for all the comics that are badass, following their dreams and midlife crises and shit, dude. That's awesome. That's amazing. I did used to buy weed from Ron. I smoked it all. All right. It's good to be here. They say white people can't cook.
To the point.
Truth? Wasn't expecting that. Oh, wow. Truth. That's not fair. It's not a fair assessment, right? That's not fair. It's like a rigged test, right? Yes, this lady, she said I can cook, right? Hell yeah. White people can cook. If it's the shit they know how to cook. Y'all ever had trail mix? White people snap when they made trail mix, okay? Hey, that's some good shit that white people made, dude. Trail mix, right? And think about it, because you got the peanuts, right? You get the M&Ms, the real star of the show, right? And then the raisins, I picked those out, but I know that's y'all's culture. I respect it, but that's y'all's culture. It goes in everything. I understand. I'm picking it out, though. But I thought about it. What is a bag of trail mix without the M&Ms, right? It's a bag of dust without the M&Ms, right? It's like sand shavings and shit, dude, without the M&Ms. I looked it up. What did they do before the M&Ms? How did M&Ms come about? Apparently, does anyone know? It was a way to feed the soldiers in World War II, right? History buffs are knowing that. They put, a little peanut in a chocolate ball, candied it up, fed the soldiers. A representation of freedom, right? That's what M&Ms were. That's amazing, And then at some point, over the next 60 years, someone decided to bend the green one over and fuck it. I don't even understand how that happened. How candy became sexy, that's crazy. That's white culture. That's y'all. Hey, listen. I've never been at a barbershop and heard my uncles and dad talking about, hey, I'm gonna fucking shit the green. But that's white people shit, dude. That's white people shit. Speaking of white people shit, y'all be having kids late. Y'all be having kids real old. Shout out y'all right there. All right, no, I'm just kidding. I don't know if they have kids and when they did. Robert De Niro just had a kid, 80 years old. Give it up for his old nutsack, right? Give it up for his old dick and balls. You pregnant? That's my De Niro, but that's when we move on from that. You pregnant? That's what that was. Not to be outdone, his lifelong rival, Al Pacino, 83 years old, also just had a kid. Give it up for his old dick and balls, right? That's amazing. She said hello to his little friend, ma'am. That's amazing, Who are these women? Who are these women who are abusing the elderly with their good hips? You know what I'm saying? That is... just climbing on top, because they're not getting on top Rob and Al, you know what I'm saying? That girl climbed on top of Al Pacino until he went, hoo-ah, you know what I'm saying? And hey, got that check. I feel bad for the kids though, right? I feel bad for these little kids. If Robert De Niro's kid lives until he's 20, Robert De Niro will be 100 years old. If Al's kid lives until he's 17, Al Pacino will be 100 years old. Those aren't fathers, you know what I'm saying? That's not a father. It's a godfather. You know what I mean?
Good one.
Because they'll be with God also. They'll be with the Lord at that point too. Switching gears again. They're coming out with the Black Superman show on HBO Max. No applause? All right. See how y'all are. Y'all didn't, the black people didn't applaud either. That's what's crazy about it. Y'all just she stood there like that, you know? That's crazy. No, it's okay. Please don't hurt me. All right, listen. It's crazy because all the nerds on the internet, they were tripping. They said Superman can't be black. It's fucked up because he should have been black this entire time. There's some reasons, right? First of all, he gets his power from the sun, not burned by it. First things first, all right? Boom. Already in there, okay? Secondly, his nemesis is a skinhead white guy who's always trying to kill him, okay? That's some black guy shit. That's some black guy shit. Thirdly, his dad's name is Jarrell. That's his dad's name. And lastly, his only weakness is a rock that's found in his community. So I don't know, you can take that.
Oh, that was good.
Take that as you will. I'm gonna do one more. I don't have time for all this shit that I was gonna do. What's Ron gonna do? Not put me in the class next time? Like, what? No. I could be on here for 30 minutes. I don't fucking care. Nah. Thank you. No, I'm gonna just do the one and get out of here. It's gonna be quick. We'll be in and out. Cause y'all got nasty tonight, right? This was a nasty crowd, right? So I'm gonna hit you with my nasty shit. Here we go. Y'all fuck with vampires? Y'all like vampires and shit, right? Vampires are cool, you know. Vampires are cool. You think a vampire's favorite time of the month is when the girl's on the period, right? Like, he don't like the other 3 weeks, he like the period week. You know what I'm saying? That's what the vampire likes, the period week. He's looking forward to the period. He doesn't like the other time. He wants the period week, that vampire, right? The girl's like, eat me out, Dracula. Dracula's like, babe, you're not even on your period. Babe, can't wait till next week when you're bleeding. The girl's leaving town. She's like, I'm going out of town for a few weeks, Dracula. I'll see you later. Dracula's like, babe, before you go, could you freeze some of your tampons for me? I'll take it like a popsicle. Make sure you don't throw them away. I can use them. Have a nice night. Taking in the brisk summer air. Sucking on tampons. All right. If that old lady had said that, y'all would have liked it more, I feel like. I'm sex positive. That's what that was. That was a sex positive joke about vampires sucking on tampons, dude. How much more sex positive can I get, right? Shout out all my lesbians. I won't point you out, but I know you're in here. All right, thank you so much. I'm Christian Davis. Give it up for Ron. Yeah.
Give it up for Christian Davis one more time. All right. So, that shit was bugged the fuck out. That was so funny. All right, so on behalf of all the comics here tonight that came up, I want to sincerely thank you guys for coming out on a Monday night. You could have been anywhere else, but you were here with us. We appreciate it. Brian, how much time do we have to hang out here and go to the bar?
About 15, 20 minutes.
So in this next 15, 20 minutes, go back to the bar, tip your bartender, drink, give everybody their hugs and their high fives. Let's have a good time. And then when they close this place down, we can move it outside and then drink some more. And I still got a little bit of weed to sell. So I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right? So I want you to give it up for all the comics you saw here tonight. You did so good, so well. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for Carrie Diara for coming out. Elise Lassick. And Christian Davis for closing us out. And for you guys for coming out. Thank you very much for coming out to Dad's Garage. Have a great night.